So, hello, listeners. I am your host, Lana, the educator. If you're a first time listener, welcome. Here we explore the latest educational trends and tackle pressing issues facing the education sector. We also conduct insightful interviews, as you will see today, with people making a difference. I share stories of triumph and innovation from around the globe. If you're interested in all of this, then stay tuned. Today, we have an incredible honor of welcoming a true powerhouse in education, leadership, and even sports. Our guest is the visionary CEO of the distinguished CTS College of Business and Computer Science, a leader in providing internationally accredited programs that open doors for students both at home and abroad. With a commitment to excellence, his institution has earned an outstanding 130 Advancing Business Education Top Paper Awards and multiple recognitions for student support, quality management, and teaching excellence. But this impact does not stop at academia. He is also a former CEO of the National Cricket Board, a revered West Indies cricketer, and a national cricket captain. His leadership extends beyond the field. He's also a John Maxwell certified leadership coach, a seasoned entrepreneur, and a dedicated pastor at the San Juan Christian Center. His work embodies excellence, integrity, and a passion for empowering others. Join me in welcoming Suruj Ragoonath. Welcome, Mr. Ragoonath.
Well, thank you so very much. It's my pleasure to be on today on this podcast, Lana. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today to have this interaction with you and to speak a little bit more about CTS College. And thank you so much for your warm introduction as well.
Thank you. I'm very excited about this. Mr. Raghunath is very busy, and you will hear why he is very busy. So taking this time out is really, it really means a lot to me. So can you tell us the story behind your college's founding? And I'm talking about the college here, but Mr. Raghunath and the CTS institution really runs a primary school and secondary school as well, and that was new knowledge to me. So tell us the story behind that and what inspired its creation.
Well, CTS was founded in 1999. And when CTS initially was started, it was amongst two friends, Ravi Ragoonath, who is my younger brother, and also Nigel, all right, Nigel Pulaya, his friend. They started CTS way back in 1999. And initially, it was really a technology solutions company. They were selling software solutions. But my brother had always this passion in our village growing up to teach. You know, he was always teaching the kids in the area. He eventually became a secondary school teacher. And they realized that there was room for growth in the private education sector. And what started off initially as just helping out a few youngsters in the area where we lived in Charleville, that the need was much more than he initially thought it was. The demand actually was. And eventually they ventured into becoming more of a secondary school. Right. And it just grew from there. So you spoke about having a primary and secondary school. Well, we actually have a nursery. So we have a daycare that has a nursery as well. And so we are literally educating from the cradle. So nursery, primary school, secondary school, then you go to your post-secondary school education development, where we have degrees and bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, 8 different specializations. In addition to that, we have over 60 certification courses, professional development, do-it-yourself, IT-related courses that someone can do in a matter of weeks and have qualifications that might allow them to get better employment or even start their own business, depending on how entrepreneurial they are. So CTS, has grown significantly over the years. And today we have over 7,000 students. Most of our classes are online. Yes, wow. And we have over 1,000 secondary school students, right, in our enrollment. So yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Wow. Yeah. So and I'm learning all of this. I mean, I see ads for CTS College, you hear it on the radio, you see the billboards, you see it, but I really am now learning, as I'm sure my listeners are, that you're so expansive and thorough in terms of what you offer, education wise. So I saw that your vision and your mission is really to provide high quality, relevant educational opportunities, and a lot of this focuses on promoting excellence in staff and students. And I took a look at your website there, and people, I will advise you to go across and see. It's a really well done website in terms of what this school offers as well. But I was looking at your motto where you say where the experience is beyond academics. So that is quite a powerful motto. Can you elaborate a bit on how that philosophy behind your motto is reflected in the student experience?
So a motto is something that really supposed to drive the organization, and it's not supposed to just be something that decorates the wall. And for us, we try to live our motto every day. And as an institution, we want our customers, and I'm saying customers here, not necessarily students, simply because we see our students as customers. It's a private institution. They are paying for an education. They have the option of going to school publicly in some areas for free, but they've chosen to come to us and pay us for an education. So they are very much a customer, and our intent is to exceed the customer's expectation and to create an experience for the customer that is second to none. And initially, our motto was where the education was beyond the academics. And the whole thing about CTS revolved around student experience. And hence the name, the changing of the motto from where the education is beyond the academics to where the experience is beyond the academics, because we really wanted to create something. And what we are creating is an experience. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. And what we have done is successfully created an experience that encourages the students to want to be part of CTS College. And they now are basically our biggest supporters. Over 40% of our students are coming from word of mouth. And that's because we've done an excellent job in terms of creating that experience. The student support services that we provide, they are the real reason why we've won all those awards that you've pointed to at the top of the program. And we are not just into a business of education. Ravi Ragoonath has, as the executive director of CTS College, sees CTS College as first a ministry and then a business. So I am more looking after the business side of things, and he is focusing on the ministerial side, because in his heart, there is this desire to give. So together we work towards ensuring that the organization is making a difference, which lines up well with my personal motto, which is to make a difference. And that we are helping our community. And when I say our community, I mean Trinidad and Tobago. We go out of our way to ensure that students are taken care of. And apart from just providing a product, which is in this case an educational product, if the need is there for psychological or emotional support, we provide those things as well. So for instance, we know in today's world that mental health is a big issue. And there are so many different challenges. Parental challenges are great. The students themselves on a daily basis have several different issues that they might be dealing with, personal and otherwise. We actually provide free counseling services, free for them. We have to pay for it. And we want to make sure that we are making a difference. And that's why we say that CTS is first a ministry and then a business. And that overall experience is not just towards creating an unforgettable experience for our students who are really our customers, but also for our internal customers who are our staff members. The kind of things that we will do as an organization for our staff is second to none in this country. I just give you a very brief peep into what CTS, a day in the life of CTS is like.
Sure.
If it's your birthday today, we'll be celebrating with lunch with the entire staff and with cake, right? That's just a snippet, and that happens on a weekly basis. Sometimes we, as a CEO, sometimes I'm cooking for the staff at work, right? So the point is that we want to create an experience for all our customers, the internal and the external customer. And hence the name with the motto, where the experience is beyond the academics. Because I honestly feel that people forget what you do for them. They never forget how you make them feel. They may forget what you say, but they will not forget how you make them feel. And we are driven by trying to make that experience a pleasantly unforgettable one. And as we continue to do that, we are seeing the result of it, which is in an increasing enrollment in the different programs year on as we continue.
Yeah, I like what I'm hearing. You really recognize your staff, because I was browsing through your website and I saw that alongside all the awards that the school has been getting and the students have been getting, you make sure that the professor, the lecturer is also recognized alongside those things. So I think I was being able to get a good picture of that. I like that you talk about giving back, because I wanted to talk about your gift voucher that I saw that you started offering, and I found that was so unusual to hear, a business, and you did say it's a private institution, giving a gift voucher. So what inspired you to introduce that system at your institution?
So just like you can go to Pennywise and purchase a gift voucher for someone, you can purchase a gift voucher at CTS and give it to someone who can use it in the registering for a course, whatever the course is. But in terms of our giving back, we do a lot of scholarships, right? I wouldn't go on air to mention the extent of the scholarships we will do, right? And we give vast amount of discounts to students. We make sure that we have very affordable payment plans.
Right.
We meet with persons if they are experiencing difficulties with regards to making payments to try and work things out. And we understand that life happens, and persons may, end up in situations that they didn't cater for. We are not the kind to say, well, okay, we'll come and repossess.
Right.
We are people. We understand that life has its challenges. Sometimes people take advantage of our good nature. But at the end of the day, because we see this as a ministry, we know that whether one believes it or not, that there are certain laws in life, and sowing and reaping is one of those laws. And we believe in sowing in the lives of others, and we've seen the result of sowing in the lives of other people, of giving, and God has blessed us tremendously. So whilst persons may have in the past taken advantage of our good nature, we continue to do well as an organization and help many, many people in many different areas. And like I said before, the first inclination of the organization is ministry. How can we help others? How can we give to people what we ourselves didn't have when we were growing up? Because we grew up in abject poverty, and our education was a struggle. So now that we are in a position that we can help others to try and make their lives better, that is something that helps to keep us humble, to keep our feet on the ground, and to ensure that at the end of the day, in as much as we are running a business, we are trying to help in the building of this nation as best as we can and provide opportunities for others, so that someone, regardless of what their financial background is, the economic situation should not prevent someone from becoming educated. So again, that's where that whole experience is all about, and where the ministry aspect of CTS is so critical. So giving back is just, you know, part of what we do, because without doing that, we would not be having the kind of success we've been having as an organization.
I want to talk a bit about the opportunities for secondary school students, having recently learned that you run a secondary school. So I, sitting here as a member of the public, would have wondered what the intake or transition would be for someone coming out of secondary school, not just your own, but from, mainstream society. What is the criteria to enter CTS college?
Just give us a call and register. There's no criteria. Let me tell
Okay.
you this, Lana. Do you know that you can enter secondary school without even having written SEA?
Really?
You don't need to write SEA to enter a secondary school. You don't even need, in some instances, CSEC passes to start a degree course.
Wow.
And CSEC students, or let me say SEA students firstly, an SEA student can write SEA in 2025, which is a couple of weeks away, next Friday, actually. And in 2026, that student could be writing CSEC.
Oh, how is that possible?
Join CTS. We have 13 and 14-year-olds who have O levels, who have CSEC O levels. And contrary to how our public education system is, whereby a student must write SEA in order to get into a secondary school. And when you get into a secondary school, you have to go through from Form 1 to 5 before you write CSEC. In a private secondary school, you don't need to do all of those things. You can choose to do 2 or 3 subjects this year, 2, 3 subjects the next year. In 1 year, we are finishing a curriculum.
Okay.
And students are, in some cases, as young as 14-year-olds are getting grade 1s, depending on the subject that they do. So the way into CTS is not difficult. It's a matter of a phone call or just going online and register. It's very easy to do. And whether you are coming from a secondary school or you are transitioning from primary into secondary, it doesn't matter. It's very, very easy. And students who wrote CSEC in the public sector and want to repeat subjects, they can come to us as well and repeat their subjects. But, here's a secret, right? It takes on average every year for a parent to send their child into the government public school, which is free. Education is free in the public schools. It's cheaper actually to send your child to a private secondary school like CTS College than it is to send them into the public system where it's free. Let me explain a little bit how that is possible.
Yeah.
A parent will typically spend between $10,000 and $12,000 conservatively every year on their child attending a public school at CSEC level. They have to spend money on books, clothing, travel, meals, and extracurricular activities and whatever, and then spending money on top of all of that. And if you do a quick mathematics here, if you multiply that, let's use a simple figure, $10,000 a year for 5 years from Forms 1 to 5, that's $50,000. And it takes 5 years. Compared to, and let's say that student in the secondary school is writing between 6 to 8 subjects. In some cases, they may be required to write 10 and 12 subjects. Subjects which they don't need, subjects which they will never utilize in their next phase of development. At CTS College, we get you to focus on small morsels of food at a time.
Okay.
So you can do 3 or 4 subjects, or even 2 subjects, 1 if you decide, right, a year. So let's say, for instance, a student decides to do 2 or 3 subjects a year at CTS. In 2 to 3 years, you can have between 4 and 6 subjects. A subject at CTS is $1,600 for a school year. That includes everything that you will need, right? So let's just say it's $1,600 a subject and you do 3 subjects. That's $9,600. That is what? 16 by 3, that's $4,800, right? So for $4,800 compared to $10,000 in 1 year, you can have 3 CSEC passes. You repeat that the next year and you do another 3 subjects. So for $9,600, you can have 6 CSEC subjects in 2 years, as compared to spending, which is less than $10,000, which you will spend in the private secondary school 1 year. And you don't have any subjects because you have to wait until you reach Form 5. So I hope you understand the mathematics there in relation to how much cheaper it is to attend CTS college as against attending a public school, and improve your chances of getting your passes because you don't have to go home and study for 6 or 8 subjects.
Yeah, so it's basically streamlined, because I was wondering how you would be getting those passes. Is it that, because I might be devil advocate here, and people might say you did the logistics, you did the calculations, but they will say, well, government school offers you a school feeding program, government school offers you book grant and bus passes and those kinds of things, which would be concerns for parents as well who cannot afford maybe $1,600 a subject, when they will say you're getting it free in a government school,
Well, that's why we need to understand that there's a big difference between free in relation to what I just said and what we offer at a cost. Because if at the end of the year you are paying between $10,000 and $12,000 to access what is free, and you pay less than half that amount of money to access that which you have to pay for, you don't need a rocket scientist to tell you that that which is free is more expensive than that which you have to pay for in this instance. So it's really a case of parents being educated, right? And that's why we have payment plans as well.
Right.
So it's not like if you do 3 subjects, you have to find $4,800 to pay CTS altogether. You have a whole year at CTS college, and we work out payment plans. So it's cheaper for you at the end of the day per month if you work out a monthly payment plan, as against if you are sending your children to a secondary school. And listen to this, there are some parents who have multiple children going to secondary school.
Yes.
Not just one. So if you think it's $10,000 to send one child to secondary school, and you have 2 or 3 children going to secondary school, just think about the kind of money parents are spending on their children's education at secondary school level. This is money that could be saved and spent towards their further education. Right?
Yeah.
So
my brain, I could think, put a bookmark where when you said that the student can come in at SE and then do CSEC the next year. And sometimes when we look at the news and regional results, we see things like that happening in Guyana, where you see the 13-year-old coming out with 13 subjects. And, every year we're asking, well, how is this possible that they're doing this? But besides that, because I think you outlined how it is possible, what do you do when they finish early? If you have a SEA ready student, let's say 12 years old, doing CSEC and finishing, let's say their 5 subject or 7 subject certificate, what preparations does your institution offer them when, they can't go into the job market because you're 12, 13 years old? What do you do in a case like that?
So you have options, because here's another factor that one must consider, Lana, in Trinidad and Tobago. Do you know how many students every year write CSEC exams in Trinidad and Tobago? Roughly 21,000 plus, maybe 21,500, depending on the year, could be close to 22,000, right? So just stay with me for a moment. Out of that 21,000 students who write CSEC every year, only 1/3 or 7,000 will get into CAPE. So what happens to the next 14,000 students who are 17 and 18 years old having written CSEC, what do they do?
Right.
And a lot of them do not have 4 or 3 CSEC passes. What jobs are they going to get? Are they going to go to groceries and pack bags? Even if they are, which is what they do, there aren't 14,000 people getting jobs in Trinidad as teenagers every year. You multiply that for the last 10 years, we have over 140,000 students who left school and are looking for jobs. So what are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have so many jobs. You don't have 14,000 jobs opening up in Trinidad every year.
Right.
And who's going to employ teenagers with 2 and 3 and 4 CSEC passes?
Right.
Right? So we have a big problem. So let's come back to now what CTS offers. So if a student at 15 or 16 has 5, 6 CSEC passes, right? What's next? They can get enrolled into a degree program. And you don't have to do CAPE to do a degree program, depending on what is your pathway, your career of choice. So for instance, if a student wants to do IT, and IT is one of those fields that is growing worldwide as we continue to grow technologically. Wherever you go, there's a demand for IT skills. A student can start their BSc in IT, their bachelor's in information technology, by simply registering after they complete their CSEC. And like I say, you don't even need CSEC to do this.
Okay.
To do a software engineering certification course, which is a short course that is really 5 short courses over a 3-month period. You complete that and you apply to the university. The universities that we are associated with are universities out of the United Kingdom. United Kingdom, as we all know, is a first world country. Their certifications are recognized worldwide, not like ours here, which is a third world country. So students who get into the bachelor's degree in information technology, they will complete the software engineering certifications program. Once they successfully complete that program, they get into the BSc IT bachelor's program. And before you know it, by the time you're 18, 19, you can qualify 20, you can qualify with your bachelor's degree. And now you are ahead of those 14,000 students who are 18, 19, 20 looking for jobs. So that's where they can go, Lana. That's just one option. They can go into the area of business, right? That ABE where you saw over 130 something plus awards, right? World prizes that we have gotten. They can do that and get into business and eventually get their bachelor's degree in business administration. They can even decide after CSEC that, you know what? Barbers today in Trinidad and Tobago are making more money than school teachers. I don't want to be a school teacher. I can go and do a barbering course. I can do a plumbing course. I can do an electrical installation course or a solar course, solar energy course. And I can start my own business, right? I'll tell you this. I have, and I'm saying this with a great measure of humility, just to make a point in terms of what our economic environment is and how important it is to have knowledge to make the right decisions. Think about this for a moment. I have 2 master's degrees. I lecture part-time at the University of the West Indies in addition to my position as CEO at CTS College. And I'm pretty certain that my plumber, who his highest form of education was secondary school, he's making as much, if not more money than I am on a monthly basis, right? If he comes home by me to do any repairs, he may wait, but I shouldn't say wait, he would work for half an hour to an hour and will leave my house with nothing less than $300 to $500 in his pocket, depending on exactly what it is he's doing, right? When I think about that, and the thing about it is that he seldom comes to me when I call him. It is either I have to wait a few hours, depending on the severity of my situation, right? If it is an emergency or not. Or sometimes I have to wait a couple of days. Why? because he's always booked doing something. He's excellent at what he does. So anyone who is good at what they do, they are going to be paid well in our current environment. And that's why we encourage students to listen, do tech voc courses, because the market is saturated with persons who have degrees and cannot get jobs.
Yes.
When I go to schools, and during this term in particular that we are in, we do numerous career fairs across the country. In fact, I'll be at one on Monday at the St. Augustine Girls High School. I actually go to the career fairs because for me as CEO, it's important to keep my finger on the pulse, understanding what is out there. It's not just about carrying the brand CTS, but connecting with the public, which is so important for us. And really, it's all about us educating the public. And these are educational opportunities for us to talk to parents and students about CTS and what it has to offer. And just like you were surprised about some of the things that we are doing, so too are they. So the whole idea here is for us to continue to educate the general public in Trinidad and Tobago about what options they have and what someone can do in relation to their next steps, right? In terms of growth and development and career options that there are available for nationals of Trinidad and Tobago. And not only that, there is also the option of doing courses that can help in terms of someone wanting to migrate, right? To prepare them for, let's say, for instance, they want to go to Canada, right? We have a partnership with the Ontario Virtual School where they can do courses here through us with the Ontario Virtual School OVS and get points to help their qualification to get into Canada. And once they do that, they basically have Canadian certification. So those are options available for students, and it's available for both males and females.
I wanted to ask you, this is definitely in your court with the field of business and technology constantly evolving and running an academic institution. What role do you think the emerging technologies like AI have been having in your institution's offering? I know it's a concern for many, many schools, many institutions. What's your take on that?
Well, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. The world today is being driven by artificial intelligence. And our thinking is, how can we better align ourselves with the use of these emerging technologies to help improve the lives and the opportunities that a student in any school may have? And hence, the thought processes now is about capitalizing on this and not seeing it as an evil thing. Yes, everything that one needs to know, it's easily found as a result of AI. But in terms of offering study programs, like having a bachelor's in artificial intelligence, the use of artificial intelligence, or the many different things that artificial intelligence can be used for in terms of helping a business to operate more effectively. The idea here is to educate and to unearth the opportunities or to exploit, I should say, not unearth, but to exploit the opportunities that AI is presenting. And that in itself is still very much in its embryonic stage. But I think AI is a wonderful thing, and we just have to make sure that we are not using it to do our school assignments. But
right, because I was saying a lot of people are concerned with the ethics of it. How do you safeguard against that?
There are plagiarism tools, right? There are plagiarism tools that are used at university levels, right? That will be able to detect some measure of AI plagiarizing and all those things, or using or abusing, in this case, AI, right? So there are tools there that can be used to help. But again, it's not about seeing AI as a threat, but seeing it for the opportunities that it presents.
As we're wrapping up here, what has been the most rewarding aspect for you as a CEO leading this institution?
Going to work every day is a joy. And just, every year we have our graduation ceremony at Hyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where our master's students, our bachelor students, information technology students, they are graduating. And to have a graduation ceremony where you have over 800 persons present, family members, seeing their loved ones cross the stage, I tell you, that is quite fulfilling. So daily, as I go to work, I know that this is what we are working towards. We are working towards persons successfully completing life goals, achieving life goals, helping a poorer family to get through the hassle of being able to successfully educate a son or a daughter. Seeing the joy in the faces of our staff, our admin staff, knowing that they are themselves contributing to something that is wider than just being in an organization and working to get a salary. Those are some very, very rewarding moments. Seeing how persons appreciate and love being part of the CTS culture. Those things, money cannot pay for those things. And it's quite rewarding, actually. And very often we will get students or parents giving us feedback, speaking about the different managers and administrators and what they are doing and the kind of impact it's having. And when we get those things, we broadcast it. We put it on our employee chat group so that they can see, well, look, Lana is getting a big up today from this parent or this student, right? And those things, just to see those things happening, it's extremely fulfilling.
Yeah. It has been a pleasure. Thank you, Mr. Ragoonath. I want my listeners to know that you empower minds and you ignite curiosity. Thank you again for joining me.
Lana, it's been my pleasure, and I do want to say thank you very much. And I hope that this podcast continue to grow and make significant strides. And as you continue to give opportunities to organizations and persons like myself to speak about what they're doing, that, more and more opportunities are created. So hats off to you, blessings, to take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you
Take
so very
care.
much.